welcome Jeremy Holt to the Forest Park podcast. It's really nice to meet you. You are the new interim director at Kentucky Mountain Mission. Yes? How did you?
Yes, but I'm just the camp director. There's still a vacancy in the position of general mission director.
Okay. Well, how did you get connected with Kentucky Mountain Mission?
Yeah, it's kind of a cool story because when I was a Bible college student at Moody in Chicago back in 2010, there was a missions conference, and Pastor William Owens and Brad Quackenbush had come to speak at the mission conference, and I had a tug on my heart toward missions, but I wasn't sure I wanted to, do something overseas or something. But I had a heart for low income, disadvantaged youth. I got a chance to do some work with inner city Minneapolis kids growing up, and so I knew I wanted to work with low income youth. And I had always heard of Appalachian culture and some of the needs down there as well. And so Pastor William and Brad Quackenbush, their seminars really captivated me. And I remember going to the altar at that missions conference and committing my life to mission work.
Hmm.
And uh, anyway, about, let's see, about 4 years later, my camp that I was working at in Minnesota shut down, and I got a chance to, have a summer that was sort of open. And Daniel McIntosh was serving as a missionary for the organization back then, and he had Minnesota connections. And he saw on my Facebook, he and I were a part of the same camp in Minnesota. He back in the 80s, and I only knew him through Facebook, but he saw that the camp was shut down and in Minnesota, and that they needed more help in Kentucky. And I had remembered from all those years ago that I had been at that mission conference and heard about Kentucky Mountain Mission. And so it worked perfectly with what I needed for my ministry practicum requirements. And so I decided to go ahead and sign up to be a counselor there. And I was just blown away by the beautiful, it was just so beautiful down there. The camp is right at the top of a mountain, and instantly my heart broke for the children down there, for the needs of the area. And it's funny because the day I set foot in Kentucky for the first time, I met my future wife, and it turned out to be Daniel McIntosh's daughter. So got a wife out of the deal too.
Not a bad deal there at all. Have you always been a Midwest boy?
Yes, yep, born and raised in Minnesota, and so the kids in Kentucky have really enjoyed making fun of my Minnesotan accent.
I'm sure they have. Yeah. So this is the first time you've been in the South, as far as South goes.
Yeah, it wasn't until I was even like 27 or 28 before I saw the ocean for the first time. So yeah.
All right. Well, I was born and raised in Texas, so and I'm now
Oh,
been in Midwest for a little over 12 years. So most of my accent's gone, but I hope you develop a
yeah.
twang just to be a part of the Kentucky culture. That's awesome.
Hmm.
So you talked a little bit about your heart for the kids there. Tell us about Appalachian culture.
Yeah.
The I'll just leave it at that. Tell us more about Appalachian culture.
Yeah. Uh, they are such a special group of people in Appalachia. They, have been known for many, many generations to be very hardworking. They're very, it's kind of hard. The economy is hard down there because the mountains make it difficult for roads to be built. And, when there isn't good big roads and stuff, it makes it challenging for communities to start up. And, uh, and so they've always struggled with poverty in that area.
Hmm.
And thankfully, the coal mining industry brought a big economic boom to the area. 50 to 70 years ago. But sadly, a lot of that has really collapsed, and so it's caused a lot of jobs to move out of the area. A lot of the people with means have left and gone to places like Cincinnati, Lexington, places like that for work. And so it really there's a lot of the ones who are left over in our area have struggled because some of them don't have education, have a hard time getting a good job. A lot of times people don't want to start jobs in our area because it's hard to recruit people. There's a big drug problem in our area. There's a lot of uh, there's a lot of welfare, and I'm thankful that they try to help a lot of the families in poverty there. But I think a lot of in our particular area have gotten used to getting handouts and are take advantage of the system sometimes. Definitely not everybody. There are still really educated, qualified people in our area that work very hard. Uh, but yeah, I think the drugs have caused really massive problems. There's also just with all that has come family breakdown. Many of the same problems that you would see in inner city America, we find in our area. Fatherlessness is rampant. I know families where the grandparents are raising their grandkids, and even some families where the great grandparents raised their great grandkids. Uh, so, it's a lot of domino effect, a lot of cause and effect that has caused the situation to be what it is in Appalachia today. There's a lot of health concerns too, a lot of smoking, a lot of tobacco use. There's a lot of obesity, which also causes the life expectancy to decrease. So between that and education, the family breakdown, there's lots of it's a place where there's lots of needs for sure.
Wow. It sounds like it's a place that is ripe for the church to make a
Yeah,
huge impact. And that brings me to what is the heart behind Kentucky Mountain Mission? And what kind of work are y'all doing there to combat
yeah,
that
yeah.
poverty
So
and well,
Kentucky Mountain Mission, they their huge goal is to get into the lives of at-risk youth, and their goal is to try to create programs that help them come to the gospel. And once they get saved, they also have programs for discipling new believers and helping them come to maturity. And so they run a Bible camp called Youth Haven Bible Camp, uh, and you know a lot of these kids sadly don't get out very much, and so Bible camp is really important for them. They really enjoy it. They have so much fun. We have constructive programming, get them away from electronics, and what I love about the Bible camp ministry is we also have this junior staff program where the kids can, once they become teenagers, they can start working. And so they can stay at camp multiple weeks in a summer. And for kids who come from fatherless situations, being able to have them for multiple weeks gives us lots of room to disciple them, to to teach them, to help them develop new habits, uh, and so yeah. So I would say that's one of our biggest things that we do. And we also have a community rec center where we try to we have bowling, we have, like I said, there's not a whole lot for families to do down there, and so having a community rec center with fun things to do helps keep people away from crime and drugs and stuff, and gives them constructive activities. There's a climbing wall in our rec center, uh, and so we yeah, one of our big goals is to use that rec center to create connections. Uh, some of these families, they won't step into a church, but they will come to a rec center. And once we build a relationship with them, we love inviting them to church. We love inviting them to our Bible camp, and we also do a lot of other community outreach related things. We have twice a year we have a dental clinic where dentists from Michigan come down and give of their time, and they and there's dental hygienists even from the local area that come and give of their time to give people free dental care, and we use that as a way to share the gospel with people. And
yeah, so
there's
that's
also
that's the connection we have with Forest Park, and we'll be seeing you this Sunday. I think
yeah.
should be a lot of fun. We've been raising money for a new autoclave
Oh,
to for the dentists that apparently sterilizes the materials for them. So we've been
wow.
sending uh, dental mission teams down there for oh gosh, before I've been here and that's 12 years. So it's very meaningful to several Forest Parkers here, the connection at
Wow.
Kentucky Mountain Mission to do the dental work. Well, you talked about a little bit about the health problems. Then I'm sure
Yeah.
that's definitely correlated and directed with people's teeth. So, can you talk a little bit more about the dental work that goes on there?
Yes. Sadly, in our area, there's a lot of, they drink a lot of pop. They drink
Mm,
a lot of Mountain Dew and other types of, and a lot of times it can really ruin their teeth. And uh, there's lots of, and again, I think because so many kids come from foster care situations or, fatherless situations, some of them don't have as much oversight and supervision, and so they're not always eating the best things. Even in a lot of the grocery stores in our area, what I notice is a very small produce section, and then a huge aisle with the Little Debbie snacks or chips or soda. So it's, I think a lot of the families, they eat up on stuff like that. That's a lot of it bad for your teeth, and so it really is a need down there.
sure.
And so a lot of times these procedures can be very expensive, and so families really appreciate when they can get help, uh, free help with that. And
Right.
yeah, and it's, we always have people that sit down and share the gospel with them when they come to the dental clinic too.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question was, do you have a favorite example of a testimony from one of the campers or counselors that has
Mm,
come in contact with Kentucky
yeah,
Mountain Mission or Youth Haven Bible Camp where you just, yes, Jesus made a huge difference in this person's life and through this ministry?
I would say the biggest example that comes to my mind is this, a young man named Cody. Now, many years ago, I when I was down as a missionary down there, I did some substitute teaching in the schools and some small group intervention teaching, and I had Cody as a student some, and he was not very respectful. He was kind of a, he was a handful, and uh, but he would come to our after school bowling program. Uh, and the public school actually decided to start a bowling team using our rec center, and so that's created lots of open doors. And Cody was one of the people on that bowling team. And when he got old enough, he wanted to start serving on junior staff at our camp. And I'm just so appreciative for all the people that really worked with Cody and mentored Cody. And now he has become a counselor at the camp. And I just had a conversation with him this past summer. He must be like 20 or so, or 21, and he apologized for some of the ways that he treated me when he was younger. And he's just like a whole different person. He got a college scholarship to for bowling, and he said he really wants to come back someday and be the camp director. And so, it's just really neat to see how our ministries are so crucial, because you get lots of time like, we really, as a mission, we prioritize heavy on the time with these young people.
Mm,
Sometimes if you only have kids for an hour a week, it's hard to build a relationship with them. But when we can have these kids all summer, or have these kids at a rec center, the rec center actually provides jobs for some of the teenagers in our area. When we have opportunities like this, it really is a chance for us to disciple, a chance for us to teach, and I really think that's what they need to become mature disciples of Christ. So looking forward to seeing what God's going to do in Cody.
yeah, absolutely. Y'all also have a special focus on inclusion, the Sunshine Camp, the campus with
Mm,
disabilities. Could you tell us a
yeah.
little bit about your heart and what inspired that?
Yes. Yes. Sunshine Camp, we dedicate 2 whole weeks of our summer specifically to special needs campers. And it's
Wow.
a big operation. We probably have to have 3 times the amount of staff to make it all happen. Uh, but we accept campers even up until they're like 70 years old or so. And so some of these campers have come to Sunshine Camp for decades, literally decades. And it's the
That's
highlight of
amazing.
their year.
Oh, sure.
They have so much fun coming, and a lot of times it's a 1-to-1 ratio. And so, or a, 1-to-2 ratio. And so these Sunshine campers, they get to, it's almost like going on vacation with your best friend. Uh, they're you spend the week and you create that connection, that relationship, and there's so much joy, and it's just so tangible in the camp. They A lot of these special needs, they're stuck inside these facilities, and they don't have a chance to get out much and try new things. And so we really are happy that we have the infrastructure to handle that, and that we can give them a really special time. So
That's incredible. It sounds like y'all have so much going on, so many great needs, and also so much ministry impact going on. That's really phenomenal. And y'all have been around since 1940s, somewhere around there.
yeah, 1946. Yep, that's
So
correct.
what is the leadership hoping for the next 70 years at Kentucky Mountain
Yeah,
Mission?
yeah. I think our one of our big goals is to just continue to be salt and light. One
Mm,
of the issues down here too is there, I mean, it's the Bible Belt, so there are a lot of churches, but uh, sometimes the pastors down here don't always have as much theological training or Bible training, and so we want to help equip churches to teach in a biblical way. We want to we want to help really mature the disciples here. We know that Christianity can be extinct if we don't pass it on to the next generation. And so we want to just continue to do what we're doing with building relationships, really being involved in their lives, even after they, leave high school, following up with them. Even this past week, there's a couple young men in their 20s that I worked with when they were younger, and they're kind of having some difficult times. So, trying to create space in my schedule to follow up with them and try to mentor them and help them through their young adult years too.
right.
Uh, yeah, we one of our biggest needs right now is full-time staffing. We we've right now our the number of full-time missionaries on staff is lower, and so if there would be anyone listening to me right now who is interested in mission work, or would be interested in an internship, or would be interested even in just coming down and visiting and checking us out, we would really appreciate it, because that there's a big harvest ready to be had, and we're short on laborers at the
The
moment. So
workers are few. Yes,
yeah.
that's
Mhm.
very, very scriptural. Really looking forward to seeing you this coming Sunday and hearing a little bit more about the heart of Kentucky Mountain Mission, and it'd be nice to be able to shake your hand as well. Was there
Yeah.
anything else that you would like to get across to our listeners on behalf of Kentucky Mountain Mission?
Yeah, I would say, just we have the summer camp coming up, and if there's anyone who would be interested even in just doing some summer work, we have positions for counselors. We could use some night watchmen. We could use some nurses. We could use some people to help with our day camp program. We do a preschool to second grade day camp program. And so if that would be of interest to you, please reach out. I would love to have a conversation with you, and be prepared for a really special summer. It's when you come there for the first time, the camp is on the top of a mountain. The view is just breathtaking, especially growing up in a place like Minnesota that was really flat. It's Be prepared for lots of beautiful hiking and beautiful scenery. So,
All right. So if you are called, go and serve. Jeremy, really appreciate the time this afternoon that you made for us, and I'll look forward to seeing you on Sunday.
you're welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Take care.